Hello, friends. Happy Tuesday, and welcome to today's live level up conversation. Whether you're tuning in live or catching me on replay, happy Tuesday. Let's dive right in.
Welcome to Level Up with Winnie Sun. Award-winning financial pro. Get ready. Level Up with Winnie Sun.
Hello, friends. It's a new day, it's a new week, and it is a new intro. I hope you enjoyed that. Welcome, of course, to Level Up Live. I'm Winnie, your host and award-winning financial pro, a Forbes and CNBC contributor and CNBC council member, and we're streaming on live on several different social media platforms. And I'm so grateful that you can make the time today. I see you there. Thank you so much for jumping in. Come in, say hello, let me know how you're doing this week. A big shout out. I see CrossX Fighter joining us on YouTube. Always a treat. I appreciate you for being here. Now let's kick it up and let you know how the market is doing. The Dow is currently up 187 points. We like the news of that. The Nasdaq is up 41 as well, and the S&P 500 is also over 10 points currently. We still have a couple more hours to go before the market closes, so don't worry. It looks like so far looks pretty good, and we'll take it for what it is, right? So a lot of things have been happening, but you may have seen, in addition to ChatGPT having some issues today, the New York Stock Exchange also has some technical mishaps yesterday, causing Berkshire Hathaway, in fact, to be displayed down almost 100% at 99%. Now that's been fixed. So that's really the main thing you need to know. But there were less than 4,000 recorded trades yesterday for Berkshire Hathaway's A shares class and B class. So actually, it wasn't just that. There were other stocks also affected. But certain the New York Stock Exchange said that roughly about 11:45 a.m. yesterday, or actually, I should say today, the issues had been resolved and trading was back to normal. But then a lot of people are saying that, some people are saying if you bought stock when it dropped that much and what happened at that point. Well, a lot of that's been resolved. Those in error trades were reversed. So back to reality, things are hopefully getting better, but that is a little concerning, right? The New York Stock Exchange having these stocks drop so significantly in such a short amount of time. These technical glitches are never a good thing. And we saw that now, even today with ChatGPT got unavailable for a few hours. You just saw how many people are like, twiddling, what do we do, what do we do? And I will mention this for a lot of students, this week and next week are the last weeks before they go on summer vacation, and there are a lot of kids are working on final projects, preparing for final exams. We saw a lot of that grumblings on social media about how OpenAI's ChatGPT was down. So you can imagine how many students are now relying on AI as part of their studies and their homework. Yeah, so this technical glitch, yeah, definitely caused a lot of issues. And so a lot of people were affected, and hopefully that is behind us. However, that being said, I don't know if it truly is, but it affected like over about 40 stocks, including Chipotle, Berkshire Hathaway. Um, and you just wonder, like, why did it impact those particular stocks and what exactly happened? We'll never really know, I guess, unless you work at the New York Stock Exchange, but certainly a little um, disruptive and a little bit disturbing as well, because we're also hearing of more reports of different financial firms and banking investment companies getting impacted by people trying to break into their cybersecurity systems and whatnot. So yeah, that's what happened yesterday. There's another article that I want to share with you, though, and this is on the Verge by Amelia David, talking about safety of AI security. And this was actually 13 former OpenAI employees did share this with support from AI pioneer Jeffrey Hinton. It should be included. They've criticized different AI companies for being really just too quiet about safety concerns. In fact, those who signed on to this said that AI firms will retaliate against those employees who speak up and talk about their concerns about safety concerns. And they're saying that there needs to be more oversight and that sometimes criticism is positive, saying that they feel like they need to speak up about safety concerns and how there needs to be more work to take place. And they're saying that with the lack of government oversight in the absence of effective regulation, they said in this letter they're urging AI companies to really adopt an open criticism principles to really help protect those who are whistleblowers. Now, I think this is an interesting letter and an interesting concept because we do know that in some shape or form, there is supposed to be some protection in the workplace and beyond for those who are whistleblowers. In fact, we saw a little bit of that occur just recently with Boeing, right? And we know that one whistleblower, maybe two, now they don't even exist and they're either passed away or were in a freak accident. So it does seem like this would be helpful. So they're saying in this letter that these principles have included sort of banning non-disparagement clauses, and really they need to be able to allow people to share and speak up, and allow public disclosure of concerns. And in the letter they're saying that there are a lot of risks that need to be addressed, such as the risk of misinformation, especially as we go into the next election here in just a few months, the issues of inequality and other threats. We've seen these threats, such as yesterday, there was a big space sharing, audio space sharing on X, formerly known as Twitter, talking about like long COVID, talking about like, what happened during the early years of the pandemic. And they had doctors and scientists and talking about people like, Dr. Fauci, who received death threats, not only for himself, credible threats, by the way, but also for his wife and his three daughters and things like that. And talking about how the spread of misinformation can quickly become not just cyber or electronic misinformation, but it can really cause great harm, very, very big harm, not only for individuals, but countries and countries and different communities as well. And also talking about things such as copyright violations and the misuse of AI generated content. So this letter is being shared out talking about some of the challenges that they feel that companies such as OpenAI and Google and Microsoft and many other companies in the AI space who have now faced backlash for having an inadequate amount of safety measures. So I think it's really interesting that this letter has come out, but I think this is just the beginning. But it gives many of us who use the technology, who benefit from the technology to help enhance our roles as employees, as business owners, looking at the flip side and just making sure that the flip side is also being protected as well. And those who are brave enough to stand up for the greater good, for the right reasons, that they are properly protected. So, yes, I think I'm curious to see how you feel about that. For those of you who are watching live, and I want to say hello, Joshua, it's great to see you here. Let me ask you this. Did you notice that OpenAI was down? Did you hear about the New York Stock Exchange issue, the technical issue that occurred yesterday? And what are your thoughts about safety in terms of AI? Do you feel like there need to be more regulations? Do you feel like regulation is bad? Do you think that government should stay out of technology? What is your stance? Would love to hear. And if you have any ideas of how companies and employees could work towards continue to advance AI technologies, but making sure it doesn't land in the wrong hands, of course, definitely speak up. And we love to share and hear your answers as well. All right, the next article I want to share and put on your radar is by Mashable. And then the Mashable is talking about Facebook. Now, this was news to me. I didn't know this, but perhaps you already did. Facebook, I guess, is being now AKA boomer book. And the reason is because, well, Facebook is now somewhere where a lot of older individuals hang out. And I know this for a fact. My dad, before it passed, like he was on Facebook almost like multiple times a day, posting pictures, engaging with his friends. So definitely has a big baby boomer audience on Facebook. But now Facebook is saying, well, that's great. We love our boomers, but we really want to improve our reputation by targeting Gen Z to ensure that, of course, their business on the Facebook side is going to be relevant in the next 20 years. Obviously, Mark Zuckerberg, when he first started Facebook in his in his college late college years, this was something he probably didn't anticipate, just a boom of baby boomers on his website. So at a New York City event recently, Facebook executives highlighted how they are just really excited about appealing to younger users, and they recognize that it is important for the sustainability of Facebook to continue to be dominant in the social media space. So this strategy includes what they say more uses of AI to enhance the user experience. They want to allow different tools to transform photo backgrounds and help you with writing of social media posts on Facebook and making the platform even more engaging and more interactive. So my question is this, do you feel like Generation Z isn't capable of writing their own social media posts, or do you feel like they just are so not interested in writing, like even writing would take too much time, they just use social media, just use AI tools? Possibly, right? But yeah, Facebook has introduced now new monetization features designed to attract more content creators, which, as you know, skew typically a little bit younger. And this could also make the platform more appealing to younger audiences who are familiar with earning money on social media. So I guess back in the day during baby boomer years, right? People would they would work side jobs, maybe work at the coffee shop, but maybe that's just too old school because nowadays a lot of young people, Gen Z, and in the future Gen Alpha, they're going to be making their side hustle through social media. This is what the studies are showing, right? So Facebook Marketplace, though, does remain a pretty popular place for younger adults, with over 10 million daily users currently aged between 18 and 29. That's here in the United States and Canada. But really, they just recognize that that needs to continue to stay nimble and continue to have different tools and features that young people feel comfortable going to. And of course, there's continues to talk about different tools that are being used to attract younger people and keep them out of the platform, including things like video recommendations, which, as you know, especially with Instagram video, has come under some heat, especially in the EU. So, yeah, despite AI advancements, still a lot of mixed reactions on whether Gen Z really thinks that Meta or Facebook is the place to be. And of course, whether or not Gen Z feels like AI is enough, and in what way would it work for AI for Gen Zers to stay on the platform? And is it enough to keep them there? So they definitely made the event kind of Instagram like, giving that sort of younger feel. But yeah, I don't know, more of a question for you. I'm curious to see if those of you, if I guess, if you're a Gen Zer or you have a Gen Zer at home, do you feel like they would consider moving over to Facebook and spending more time there? Maybe when they get older. I don't know. Maybe that's just a thing. Because it does feel like Facebook moves a little slower. I will say it definitely seems like TikTok and Instagram is the place that the younger Gen Zers are at least like my Gen Zers on Instagram almost constantly. So we'll see. And Vicky joining us on Facebook. Let me know, Vicky, how do you feel about that? Do you feel like Facebook has enough for the young generation to feel like they want to hang out there? I don't know. All right. Well, my next story I want to share with you is those of you, I know many of you are small business owners out there, and this one is just for you. So, CNBC is reported by Hugh Song is sharing that the U.S. Small Business Administration, aka the SBA, is launching now a government-backed credit line of up to $5 million for small businesses. This was just announced by the SBA lead Isabel Guzman. And so they're having this pilot program, in fact, sort of a working capital pilot program. They're going to be introducing this pretty soon. This is going to be designed to appeal to lenders and those who need to borrow exist like different SBA products of the future. So this new credit line will have an annual fee and interest rates based on prime plus 3 to 6.5%. And that sounds high. Then it is, you're absolutely right. It is high. So to give you an idea how high this is what I'm like, not what I was expecting. But get this. So the new credit lines, when you add in prime rate plus a 3 to 6.5%, you're talking like currently about 12 to 15%. That's a big ouch. Now, these loans over $150,000 will have a 75% SBA guarantee, and loans under 150,000 will have an 85% guarantee, reducing lender risk. But this new initiative is looking to make getting working capital just a little bit easier to help small businesses secure contracts and, of course, expand their businesses and operations without relying too heavily on credit cards. Well, you're talking about 12 to 15% interest. Yes, that's still currently lower than credit cards, but please, I mean, we were all upset about how high interest rate has been for student loans, and now small businesses are going to pay this type of interest. Yikes. That's just going to be trickled down to what you and I spend when we shop, I guess, when we shop small. So it's just, I don't know if this is a good thing. I think you figure this out. But yeah, they have the SBA has this flagship 7A loan program, which has provided over $27.5 billion last year. Most loans are under $350,000 in that area, but nonetheless, they have to apply for these new credit lines to SBA's website. There's a pre-screening lender platform as well once the program is live. But I will just say that there's a lot of things to consider when you take on an SBA loan. And it's certainly not as simple as maybe having a mortgage on your house, or certainly not as easy as having a credit card. So I think the process needs to be made a lot more easy, a lot more user friendly for small businesses, so that if you really have the small business owner in mind and you want this to help them develop their businesses, I think we got to think of the process too as well. And this is looking at you. Many of the banks who back these small business loans, I'm just going to say, I think you could really do a better job. I'm just going to put it out there. For those of you who are watching and you have SBA loans, let me know how you feel about your SBA loan lender, and how you feel about the process and all that. And that way it'll help other business owners if they're thinking about going into this direction. Now, lastly, I wanted to share with you a story that came from CNBC, shared by Kat Dory, about the record 401k savings rates. And just ask yourself, are you on the right track? Are you on track, in fact? In fact, the average 401k savings rate, now this includes employee and company contributions combined, has hit a record high of 14.2% in the first quarter of 2024. This is this is sort of getting close to what many mutual fund companies recommend, sort of a 15% benchmark of contributions. Well, get this, employees are contributing on average about 9.4% of their income. That's awesome. I'm going to say, just hearing that makes me so happy to hear that, because that is absolutely going in the right direction. While companies are adding about 4.8% through different company matches, profit sharing, and other deposits, sort of that 15% goal is now much, much closer. Now, now I will say this, if in order to sort of maintain your current standard of living, your current lifestyle that you may or may not enjoy right now, if you want that similar like level of lifestyle that you have today in your retirement, that goal is to contribute at least 15%. In fact, I would challenge those of you who are watching to try and push it all the way to 18% if you can, and 20% if you can. That's even better, because that just means you'll have a little bit more cushion as you're saving for your future retirement. So for those of you who are thinking, how can I do this? Well, as you know, the younger you start, there's a little bit more leeway that if you can't contribute 15%, even if you can contribute 10%, it'll still be very meaningful if you start younger, because you have more years of potential compounded growth. And if you start later in life, though, of course, you're going to have to factor that in, and you might need to put in more towards your retirement more than 15%. So for example, so if someone who has a 20-year old and they're looking to save 10%, a 50-year-old might need to save as much as 20% just because of their age differences and whatnot. But the key thing is sort of automatic enrollment, and of course, continue to ratchet up and save more whenever you can. And I would say this, I remember when I first started saving for my 401k, when I felt like I can contribute more, I would bump that contribution up a little bit. And you usually can do it though online. So it's actually pretty easy. Or you can always call the phone number on your 401k statement and ask them to help you do that. And then let's say around the holidays, you tend to spend a little bit more for your loved ones for gifts, then you could actually ratchet down your contribution for just that particular month. So thereby helping you kind of contribute more most of the time. And then that way you still don't feel like, you're strapped when you really need the money, and you don't have to go into debt and putting money on your credit card. Don't put money on your credit cards just to fund your 401k. That's definitely a big no-no and definitely something you don't want to do. But with that, thank you so much for tuning in. Currently, the Dow is still up in the positive 169 points. Nasdaq's up about 48 points, and the S&P 500 is still up over 10 points as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's wonderful to spend this time with you. I truly, truly appreciate it. And I know so many of you have joined us today. And welcome back to my amazing creative director, Curtis, who is back from Europe. Let me just say, we all miss him a lot. So glad. Great to have him back. But thank you so much for being part of the Level Up family. Do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe so you'll stay up to date on all the latest content. Now, to watch some previous episodes of Level Up with Winnie Sun, you can check out NASDAQ and, of course, Amazon Fire, Samsung, LG, Roku, and many other streaming platforms. And when sharing your episode online, do me a favor and please tag at Winnie Sun so I can definitely thank you. Like, I got a big shout out to Joshua, big shout out to Vicky, Tiffany, Samir, so many others who have been doing that lately. Truly, truly appreciate you. And of course, don't forget, there's also Yes Factor with Winnie Sun, which is a podcast on the Apple Podcast Network. With that, I hope that you're having an incredible week. I will look forward to seeing you again this week, but take care, be well, and of course, send me a direct message if there's anything that you see that I should go ahead and share on a future episode. Take care, be well, bye-bye now.